Before stars existed, there was silence, an endless sea of darkness where time itself had not yet learned to flow. Then a spark, a trembling light, broke the stillness. From chaos came creation. Clouds of dust and gas danced across the cosmos, colliding, shaping, and birthing the first suns. Among them, one quiet corner of space held the beginnings of a small, blue world that would one day tell the greatest story ever known. From the ashes of exploding stars, Earth was born in fire. Lava seas roared across its surface. Lightning painted the sky. Slowly, the chaos cooled. Mountains rose, oceans formed, and the first winds whispered across the newborn planet. Earth had taken its first breath. As the planet cooled, water gathered in its lowest places, forming vast, endless oceans. Beneath their shimmering surface, chemistry became life. Tiny, single-celled beings floated in the darkness, unaware that they were the architects of everything to come. They created oxygen, turned the seas blue, and changed the sky itself. For billions of years, these invisible creators ruled alone. They built the foundation of evolution, shaping the balance between air and water. Every living thing that would ever exist would owe its breath to them. In their silence, they began the story of all life on Earth. In the deep, ancient oceans, strange forms began to appear, soft-bodied creatures that drifted and crawled through murky waters. They had no eyes, no bones, yet they were alive in ways the planet had never seen. They moved to unseen rhythms, guided by instinct older than time itself. These first multicellular beings were the artists of movement. Their bodies changed shape, their patterns repeated, and evolution took notice. They lived, multiplied, and died in the quiet depths. Though none remain today, their legacy became the blueprint for every creature that would ever move upon the earth. One day, something miraculous happened. Tiny forms of life learned to capture light. Photosynthesis, an act so simple, yet so powerful, changed the world forever. Oxygen filled the skies, and the planet began to breathe. The seas shimmered with emerald light as algae spread like a living tide. The air that now surrounds us was born from that moment. The first forests were still far in the future, but life had found a way to touch sunlight and live by its glow. Earth, for the first time, turned from gray to green. Beneath the waves, armored fish swam through coral forests, their scales glinting like jewels in ancient light. This was the Devonian period, the age of fish. The oceans teemed with predators and explorers, each testing the limits of what life could be. Some fish dared to crawl onto land, using fins as legs and gills as lungs. They gasped their first breaths beneath alien skies. That single act would change the planet forever. From those brave creatures came reptiles, birds, and mammals, every living being that walks the earth today. The land was empty no more. Plants spread across the continents, roots gripping rock, leaves drinking light. They created forests that turned carbon into life and rain into rivers. The world transformed into a living garden. These ancient forests became the lungs of the earth. They cooled the air, built soil, and created balance. Beneath their shadows, insects buzzed, and amphibians thrived. The planet had found its rhythm, a heartbeat of wind, water, and life. From the swamps emerged creatures unlike any before, cold-blooded, strong, and cunning. reptiles learned to master both land and sea. They evolved armor, claws, and scales that shimmered in the sun. They ruled deserts, rivers, and jungles. For millions of years, reptiles shaped the world's ecosystems. Some grew massive, others became quick hunters. Evolution was experimenting, preparing for something even more extraordinary. Deep within this age of scales and fangs, the seeds of the dinosaurs were already forming. Then came the giants. The dinosaurs rose as the planet's undisputed rulers. Their world was vast, green, and thriving. Some grazed on treetops. Others stalked the shadows with jaws that could crush bone. Their reign lasted for over 160 million years, longer than humans have even existed. They were more than monsters. They were masterpieces of adaptation. They conquered sky, sea, and land. But even the mightiest empires fall. Far above them, a silent rock drifted through space, waiting for its moment. It began with light, a streak across the sky, brighter than the sun. Then came fire, waves of heat that swept across continents. The asteroid struck with unimaginable force, shattering the balance of life. The age of dinosaurs ended in one terrible heartbeat. Darkness covered the planet. Ash and silence filled the air. But Earth, as always, endured. In the shadows of extinction, tiny survivors, small mammals, waited for their turn. When the smoke cleared, the world belonged to them. With the dinosaurs gone, life reshaped itself. Mammals grew larger, smarter, and bolder. Forests regrew. Rivers found new paths. The planet healed, as it always does. In time, new rulers would rise, creatures with hands to build and minds to dream. The world turned slowly toward a new dawn. Evolution's next masterpiece was preparing to awaken. From dust and survival came something fragile yet extraordinary. The first humans, who would inherit all that Earth had created. Cold returned. Vast glaciers crept across the land, carving valleys and shaping mountains. The Ice Age had begun, and Earth grew quiet beneath its frozen crown. Mammoths, saber-toothed cats, and giant sloths roamed the tundra, thriving in a world of ice and silence. Humanity's ancestors huddled near fire, watching the stars shimmer through frozen air. These were years of endurance, not conquest. Each sunrise was a victory. But the ice would not last forever. The planet was restless, and as the glaciers melted, rivers swelled and forests reclaimed the world. From the cold, humanity emerged changed, stronger, wiser, and ready to build. In the heart of the darkness, humans discovered light. Fire was not just warmth, it was power. Flames turned night into day, and fear into curiosity. Around the fire, stories were told, ideas shared, and dreams born. It became the heartbeat of early civilization. Fire shaped our tools, our food, and our destiny. It taught humans to shape metal and harden clay, to cook and to protect. The discovery of fire was not only a moment of survival, it was the awakening of thought. The spark that lit the world was the same spark that would one day ignite imagination. Before cities and kings, humans were watchers of the sky. They studied constellations, noting the dance of light across the heavens. The stars became their calendar, their compass, and their gods. Across the world, from deserts to mountains, humans built monuments that aligned with the cosmos. They believed the sky spoke in signs, in movements of planets and eclipses. And perhaps it did, the stars taught humanity patience and wonder. Every civilization that followed carried within it the memory of those who once sat by ancient fires and whispered stories to the night sky. In time, stories became faiths, and myths became power. Humans created gods to explain thunder, wind, and fate. They carved them in stone and built temples to honor their strength. These gods reflected humanity itself, beautiful, flawed, curious, and eternal. The myths shaped civilization. They taught morality, courage, and awe. Empires rose under divine symbols and fell by the same beliefs. The gods may have been imagined, but their echoes became part of us. Every temple, every prayer, every question of why was the sound of humanity reaching for something greater. Civilization began to build massive cities, pyramids, and temples that defied time. Stone by stone, humans reached toward immortality. Egypt, Sumer, the Indus Valley, each wrote its name into history's foundations. These were not just cities, they were mirrors of human ambition. They marked the transition from survival to creation. With architecture came writing, trade, and knowledge. Humanity had learned to shape not only the land, but also destiny itself. The builders of stone left behind a message carved in silence. We were here. We mattered, in part 1. Long before maps, sailors crossed unknown waters. Ancient mariners, perhaps forgotten others, sailed beyond the horizon. They traded, explored, and disappeared. Their names were lost, but their influence in myths of Atlantis and Lemuria. Some say they built cities now buried beneath waves, civilizations that vanished with rising seas. Whether myth or truth, one thing endures: humanity's desire to explore. The ocean calls to us even now, reminding us that discovery always begins where certainty ends. From tribes came kingdoms, and from kingdoms, empires. Power demanded monuments, armies, and conquest. The world became divided into borders and banners. Yet beneath the noise of battle, humanity continued to dream. Every empire believed it would last forever, but time has no loyalty. Cities crumble, dynasties fade, and the desert reclaims all. Still, each left behind something: language, art, architecture. Humanity's greatest empire has always been memory itself. Archaeologists dig into the earth and find stories, pottery, tools, bones, and dreams turned to dust. Entire civilizations sleep beneath layers of time. Some so old, we cannot name them. Others so mysterious, they seem almost alien. Each discovery is a whisper from the past. Every artifact reminds us that the world we live in is built upon countless others. The forgotten ones beneath the sand are gone, but through their silence, they still speak. Then came cities that glowed under torches and moonlight. Babylon, Athens, Alexandria. Centers of knowledge, art, and philosophy. Humanity had mastered stone and bronze. Now it began to master thought. The written word became a weapon more powerful than any sword. It preserved knowledge through generations. Humanity had found its voice, not in whispers or firelight, but in ink and parchment. The world was waking up, and the age of enlightenment had quietly begun. Some say civilizations rise and fall in cycles, that humanity has lived, died, and been reborn countless times. Myths of floods, gods, and golden ages repeat across continents separated by oceans. Could they all be remembering the same forgotten truth? Perhaps we are not the first to build, dream, and lose everything. Maybe we are simply the latest chapter in an eternal story. A story Earth keeps rewriting until we finally understand it. Far below Antarctica's frozen silence lies a forgotten world. Beneath miles of ancient ice, scientists have discovered rivers, mountains, and lakes untouched for millions of years. Some say entire ecosystems still sleep there, preserved like memories in crystal. Perhaps the ice hides more than life. Perhaps it hides history. Lost continents, vanished civilizations, or remnants of a time before recorded memory. As satellites scan the frozen wasteland, strange geometric shapes appear under the snow, stirring whispers of secrets Earth isn't ready to reveal. 70,000 years ago, a supervolcano erupted in Indonesia, cloaking the planet in ash. Sunlight dimmed, crops failed, and the air grew cold. Humanity's numbers fell to only a few thousand. Our species was nearly erased. But survival was written into our nature. From that near extinction, humans began again. Those who endured passed down resilience through blood and story. Every human alive today carries the echo of those who refused to fade, whose determination lit the next chapter of our journey. As the world warmed again, humans began to think beyond survival. We painted caves with symbols of dreams, recorded hunts on stone, and turned memory into art. Each brushstroke was a declaration. We are more than animals. Language evolved. Music, belief, and curiosity became tools of evolution. The world had seen creatures of strength and instinct, but never before had it seen beings of imagination. Humanity was no longer just surviving, it was beginning to create. Long before clocks or calendars, time was told by the movement of the sky. The ancients built monoliths that marked solstices and eclipses with astonishing precision. These stone calendars prove that humanity's mind had outgrown its body. To them, time wasn't just a measurement, it was sacred. They saw patterns in the stars, rhythms in the moon, and meaning in the passage of seasons. The sky was their book, and each constellation a chapter of the universe's story. Humanity's hands learned to shape metal. Bronze was stronger than stone, and with it came power and war. Empires rose on rivers of invention and fell in oceans of conflict. Yet through chaos, progress continued. Weapons and tools became symbols of knowledge and control. From blacksmiths came innovation, from battles came alliances, and from destruction came rebirth. The Bronze Age was not just an era of violence, it was the forge where civilization was tempered. In the shadows of fallen empires, scholars worked to preserve wisdom. In libraries like Alexandria, scrolls held the collective memory of humankind. Mathematics, astronomy, medicine, philosophy. They understood that knowledge was fragile, but necessary. When fire consumed the great libraries, humanity wept. Yet even as the flames rose, the idea survived. Knowledge cannot truly burn. It only hides, waiting for those willing to search again. From the pyramids of Giza to Machu Picchu, ancient architecture defies easy explanation. How did early civilizations align their monuments with celestial precision? How did they move stones heavier than modern cranes can lift? Perhaps they knew things we've forgotten. Mathematics, energy, or nature's hidden laws. Some call it mystery, others lost technology. Whatever it was, it reminds us that progress is not linear. Humanity may rediscover what it once already knew. From the pyramids of Giza to Machu Picchu, ancient architecture defies easy explanation. How did early civilizations align their monuments with celestial precision? Entire cities have vanished overnight, swallowed by fire or sea. But destruction is also creation. New islands rise, new mountains form, and life begins anew. Every tremor is a heartbeat of a living planet, one that both nurtures and humbles its most ambitious children. Everything on Earth is connected, seen and unseen. Forests breathe for oceans, oceans feed the skies, and the skies bring rain to forests again. It is a delicate circle of balance, one we are only beginning to understand. Humanity often forgets it is part of this web, not above it. The same atoms that form stars also form our hearts. Every breath we take once belonged to something ancient, something sacred. To harm the earth is to harm ourselves. When writing became language, and language became history, humanity crossed an invisible threshold. We began to remember beyond generations. Clay tablets, carvings, papyrus, all became vessels of time. The stories written then still shape us now. They whisper through myths, religions, and the very idea of progress. To write is to live twice, to exist both in the present and in the echoes of tomorrow. Humanity had finally given itself a memory that would outlast its body. In the blink of history, humanity built machines that could think faster, see farther, and remember more than any mind before. We called it progress, but it was also a mirror, reflecting both our brilliance and our fear. Artificial intelligence, automation, and endless data connected the planet into one pulsing network. For the first time, humanity became its own ecosystem of code and consciousness. The question remained, did we create something new, or simply teach the universe to dream through us? As cities rose, the forests fell. Rivers choked with plastic. Air grew heavy with smoke. And the earth began to whisper warnings in storms and droughts. Yet, amid the noise of progress, few listened. It is a strange paradox that the species capable of imagining eternity struggles to preserve tomorrow. But even in crisis, there is hope. Every seed planted, every forest saved, every voice that refuses silence reminds the planet that humanity still remembers how to care. Once, humans gazed at the stars with wonder. Now we reach for them. Spacecrafts glide through the void, searching for signs of life, for reflections of ourselves. We are explorers again, curious, restless, unafraid. Perhaps somewhere out there, another species looks back, wondering who we are. Maybe the universe is not a cold emptiness, but a mirror filled with countless versions of the same dream, to know where we came from and where we belong. Our ancestors painted with stone and firelight. We paint with photons and pixels. Information moves at the speed of light now, stories crossing oceans in seconds. Humanity's voice echoes louder than ever, yet it risks being lost in the noise. The challenge of our age is not connection, it is meaning. Amid the endless stream of light and data, we must remember what it means to feel, to wonder, to pause. Only then can progress become wisdom. The more humanity advances, the more it looks inward. Science maps the universe, but philosophy asks why it exists. We build worlds inside screens, yet long for touch and silence. Progress without purpose feels hollow, like an echo fading into static. Perhaps true evolution is not about speed or technology, but awareness. The ability to understand that we are not separate from nature, from each other, or from the cosmos that birthed us. The ice melts. The seas climb higher each year, swallowing memories carved into coasts and cities. Nature reclaims what it lent us, reminding us that nothing is truly owned, only borrowed. Yet within the flood comes adaptation. Humans have always rebuilt after loss, finding ways to live with the changing earth. The rising ocean is not the end. It is another beginning, an invitation to evolve once more. Humanity has always feared one truth, the end. From ancient tombs to digital consciousness, we've searched for ways to outlive ourselves. But perhaps immortality isn't about living forever. It's about leaving something that does. Art, music, stories, kindness. These are our eternal fingerprints. Long after our bodies fade, the echoes of who we were will ripple through time, carried by the dreams we dared to share. Maybe evolution isn't over. Maybe it never was. We are changing still. Merging with technology, extending our senses, bending time and distance with our inventions. The line between human and machine grows thinner every day. But the next step might not be physical. It might be spiritual. A shift in consciousness where empathy becomes our greatest technology and understanding replaces domination. Earth will remember us, not as conquerors, but as part of its endless story. Every civilization leaves traces, fossils, signals, ruins, and whispers in the soil. Long after we're gone, the planet will still turn, the sun will still rise, and life will begin again. Perhaps someday, another form of life will find what we've left behind and wonder who we were. They'll see that we dreamed, loved, built, and searched for meaning in the vastness of existence. The story of Earth is not ending, it's evolving. From dust to oceans, from cells to consciousness, every chapter has led here. And yet, this is not the final page. The universe still expands, and with it, so do we. In the silence between stars, a question remains. What will humanity become next? Perhaps the answer is simple. We are the universe, trying to understand itself, and the story has only just begun.